I led a research team at a top-secret laboratory where we had made a groundbreaking discovery, the key to creating life from scratch. We had spent countless hours experimenting with various gene combinations, and after months of trial and error, we had finally succeeded in creating a living creature. It was a magnificent sight, a creature unlike any other, with the strength of 10 men and the intelligence of a human. I was fascinated by our creation, but there was something unsettling about it that I couldn't quite put my finger on. That night, as we celebrated our success, my eyes kept wandering towards Emily. She had been by my side during every step of the research and development process, and I couldn't help but feel a deep admiration for her intelligence and strength. We raised our glasses in a toast to our achievement, and as the night progressed, I found myself struggling with my own emotions. I knew I had to tell her how I felt. I wanted to tell her how much I appreciated her and how much I cared for her. But as the night wore on, I became more and more nervous. I couldn't seem to find the right words or muster up the courage to confess my feelings. Before I knew it, the party was coming to an end, and Emily was getting ready to leave. I felt a knot in my stomach as I watched her gather her things, knowing that I might never get another chance to tell her how I felt. As she walked towards the door, I took a deep breath and blurted out,
"Wait, Emily, there's something I need to tell you."
She turned around, looking at me expectantly.
"I know this might not be the best time, but I have to say it,"
I continued, my heart racing.
"Emily, I just wanted to say that I admire you, your intelligence, your strength, and your hard work. You make me want to be a better person, and I'm grateful for everything you've done for our team."
Emily looked at me, her eyes filled with warmth and understanding.
"Thank you.
She said softly.
That means a lot to me."
We stood there in silence for a moment, and I could feel the tension between us. But before I could gather the courage to say anything else, she smiled and said,
"Well, it's getting late. We should get some rest. It's going to be another busy day tomorrow."
And with that, she left. I watched her go, feeling a mixture of relief and disappointment. I knew I hadn't confessed my love, but at least I had expressed my admiration for her. Maybe someday, I would find the courage to tell her how I really felt. But for now, I was content with the thought that I had made her smile. Next day, we began to notice that the creature was becoming increasingly agitated and unpredictable. We had thought that we had everything under control, but it was becoming clear that the creature was far more powerful than we had anticipated. At night, as I was working late in the lab, I heard a blood-curdling scream coming from one of the nearby rooms. I rushed over to investigate, and what I saw made my blood run cold. The creature had broken free from its enclosure, and it was wreaking havoc on the lab. Its strength was unimaginable, and it was tearing apart everything in its path. I knew that we had to stop it before it could escape into the world outside. As I was scrambling to find a way to contain the creature, I bumped into Emily. In that moment, I knew that I had to protect her at all costs.
"Are you okay?"
I asked her, trying to catch my breath.
"No, I'm not okay.
She replied, her voice trembling.
That thing is out there, and we have to stop it before it hurts anyone else."
Together, we devised a plan to halt the creature's rampage.
"What if we use the shockwave generator to disable it?"
Emily proposed, indicating a prototype machine in the corner of the laboratory.
"It hasn't been tested yet, and there's a possibility that it may scatter anything in its path, but it could be our only chance,"
I replied, sensing a glimmer of hope.
"However, we'll have to position it correctly first."
We decided to use a laboratory dog as a decoy to entice the creature closer while we concealed ourselves behind a heap of debris, anticipating its arrival.
"I'm scared."
Emily admitted, her voice barely audible. I held her hand tightly, assuring her that we would face it together. As we waited, the sounds of howling and dog barking filled the air, causing time to seem to stand still. Suddenly, we heard the creature approaching. It had heard laboratory dog and was creeping closer and closer to us. In a moment of bravery, I emerged from our cover and started sprinting, using myself as bait rather than the dog. It had always been my intention to use myself as bait since a leash dog wouldn't provide enough time for us to power up the shock wave generator. I had already made up my mind to sacrifice myself for Emily. As I raced away as quickly as possible, the creature closed in on me.
Emily, shoot it now,
I shouted, hoping she would be able to take it down. But she hesitated. I could see the terror in her eyes. She knew that if she fired the weapon, I might be disintegrated along with the creature. Just as the creature was about to leap on me, Emily mustered all her courage and fired the shock wave generator at it. The impact was forceful, and the creature was caught off guard. Fortunately, the gunfire was directed and missed me. The creature staggered backwards, bewildered and disoriented. As it stumbled about, we saw an opportunity.
Now, Emily,
I yelled.
Fire again.
Emily aimed, her hand steady this time. She fired the shock wave generator, and the creature crumpled to the ground, disintegrating into nothingness. It was over. Emily rushed to my side, tears streaming down her face.
I thought I was going to lose you.
She whispered, embracing me tightly. I held her close, feeling an overwhelming sense of relief and love.
I'm okay,
I said, holding her close.
thanks to you.
We emerged from the lab, shaken but alive. As we looked up at the sky, we saw a beautiful sight. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over the world. It was a reminder that even in the midst of chaos and destruction, there was always hope. Emily and I looked at each other, and we both knew what we wanted. Without hesitation, I leaned in and kissed her, and she kissed me back with a passion that took my breath away. As we walked away from the lab, hand in hand, we knew that whatever the future held, we would face it together.